Joel Embiid has the most pressure. LeBron's career, and I don't want to hear about LeBron's legacy. I don't want to hear any more about that. That is the new thing. Sorry, I'm old man, get off my lawn now, Trevor. That is the new thing when people can't think of anything else. They want to talk about legacy. LeBron James, if he decided tomorrow, never mind, I'm not going to play, he goes down as one of the, at worst, 5 best players of all time, and in most people's minds in the top 2 or 3, okay? So LeBron, if he doesn't play, much less doesn't win.
I couldn't tell, guys, if that was Windy saying that or if that was Michael LeBron. Two people who hate the legacy conversation for obvious.
Smart man.
But, Evan, who does have the most pressure on him in Philly this year?
Yeah, I think LeBron James, because he signed up for the pressure. Let me define what pressure is. Pressure is not something is going to go wrong where all of a sudden he won't be one of the greatest players ever, or it'll hurt his legacy or anything like that. It's simply this. Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon on the Hoop Collective podcast. Tim says something that I think is brilliant about the Sixers organization. It's Joel Embiid's organization. It's Tyrese Maxey's team. That's what Tim McMahon says. Let me add one. I think it's LeBron James's season. I think he signed up to go to Philly because now we learn the reveal, the big reveal at the end of the movie or the TV show. What does happiness mean? Happiness means winning. That's what it means. So he's saying, I don't need to go back to Cleveland because it won't matter if I win. My legacy is set there. Same thing in Miami. Golden State. In theory, it's I want to be with my friends and I want to be near my family. Okay, if you don't win, you don't win. He's signing up for pressure. He's telling you the oddest of decisions. As Brian has been saying all show long, it's unfathomable that this actually happened. The most pressure is on LeBron James. That's what he signed up for. I think the least pressure is on Embiid. I think this is the lowest pressure he's had on him all career. I don't think there's ever been a point in Joel Embiid's career that he's had less pressure. You know why? You know how many games he has to play in the regular season? 0. If he doesn't play a single game, it doesn't matter. You know how many games he has to play in the postseason? Enough for them to win 16. If that's with him or without him, it does not matter. He is an add-on piece to this great roster with great management and great coaching. The most pressure is on LeBron. He told you that by signing there.
This is a fascinating moment because most of the time you can go to every team in the league and you can answer this question. Sometimes the answer, by the way, isn't even a player. Sometimes it's the coach. Sometimes it's the GM. Sometimes it's the owner. I would say, like right now in Portland, the owner is under the most pressure, for example. But I don't have a good answer for this, Courtney. And it's because this is so complicated. Like Evan's talking, he's making a case for LeBron. Okay, well, you're going to argue that a guy who's making the minimum contract, who's going to be 42 years old in the playoffs, is under pressure? If that's the case, your team's kind of in a troublesome situation. Embiid, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I agree with Wilbon to a certain extent, but this is a guy, the Sixers played 11 playoff games this spring, okay? He missed 4 of them. 3 of them were because he had an appendectomy. All right, he comes back from an appendectomy before the doctors were going to clear him. He has a 34-point Game 7 in one of the great games of his career to carry them over the Celtics, and a few days later misses a game with a sore ankle. Because this is who Joel Embiid is. I mean, you can say that there's pressure on him, but you're never going to be able to account for the injuries. How can you account for a guy who can't play because he's hurt? This is just the nature of it. What are you going to put the pressure on Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown didn't say, trade me to Philadelphia. He didn't say, I don't want to be in Boston anymore. That was a circumstance of this. That trade put pressure on the Celtics and Brad Stevens and Jason Tatum. So what do you put on Tyrese Maxey? When has this guy never delivered? He's a tremendous playoff performer, clutch performer. I don't know what the answer to this question is. I'm sorry.
I think the answer is Joel Embiid, and I think it's fascinating the juxtaposition between Embiid's career and LeBron's career. Both came in with a lot of hype and a lot of expectations. Of course, LeBron at a different level, but LeBron at every step has fulfilled the promise, right? He won a championship in Cleveland. He won a championship in Miami. He won a championship with the LA Lakers. The expectation is that he's going to win a championship in Philly. We'll see. But Joel Embiid has underwhelmed in terms of the expectations that have been placed on him since he arrived in Philadelphia. And even though he got an MVP once upon a time, Joel Embiid is synonymous with trust the process and a loser's mentality. Fair or unfair, that's the label. That is the headline for his career. And so when it comes to the pressure, if you're looking at the situation in Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, if he can't win now, if he can't get to a conference finals or better now, it's probably not going to ever happen with the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's why I think he's got the most at stake. He's got to be under the most pressure.
Yeah, he feels like the de facto answer to this question simply because of all of the games that he's missed over his career and how they've brought other players in, and it's become their team over his. All right, club in Manhattan is Brooklyn Nets small forward Michael Porter Jr. had to wait in line outside, well, Jalen Brunson, of course, right there, got brought in right behind Porter. So the Knicks get in the club before the Nets and clearly doing a little bit better than them on the floor, too. So, Canty, has anything like this ever happened to you? I can't imagine you've been somebody who didn't get into a club.
No, because I played for the best team in the markets that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, right? When I was with the New York Giants, we won a championship. Giants in the club before the Jets. That's just how it goes down. Appropriately so, the Knicks getting in the club before the Nets. The Knicks just won the chip. It's only right.
So you're going to make the argument on national TV on First Take that you've never needed someone else to get you in somewhere? Do you want me to go look at my call log when you had to call me at the draft when we were in Pittsburgh and I was in this special section and I'm getting frantic calls before Mendoza was drafted by the Raiders? I can't get in there. Let me in. And I had to walk over. Did that not happen?
It did happen.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So he's the Michael Porter.
Was hard for me to get into the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, but I feel like I had a hard time because it's in Pittsburgh and I used to play for the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, so you're saying they were
I feel like there might have been a little bit of home cooking, wanting to give me a hard time because I was with the Ravens.
First time for
He needed a guy, and somehow I was the guy.
You were the guy.
I was the guy.
First time you've ever been the plug for anything, too.
I was the Jalen Brunson.
It's the first time everybody's ever called Evan Cohen to get into the club. I can promise you, hasn't happened before, probably won't happen again.
Well, speaking...
I want you to see this video. This is Nets forward Michael Porter Jr. arriving at a club. He's got to stop. He's got to talk to security and check in. And there goes Jalen Brunson just walking right by, and everyone just says hello and doesn't stop him for 1 second. What do we think of that? What do we?
That's how it should be.
That's how, Monica, it's good to be the Knicks right now, right?
100%. King of New York. I mean, this is the way it goes.
I hate this for my Nets, Greeny. I hate this for my Nets. This is where we are right now. Just in the back of the line.
I have a lack of knowledge about club access in New York, Greeny. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm not going to lie to you. I share that lack of knowledge. But if there's one thing I do know, it's that Jalen Brunson owns this town like no one has owned this town in quite some time. That's Michael Porter standing there negotiating if he's on the list, and there's Jalen just walking by. Hey, what's going on?
Greeny, the next step, though, he has to make the Derek Jeter improvements. Derek Jeter never went through the front door. He always went through the back.
Well, we'll worry about that
there
next.
You go.
All right, let's talk about the latest decision. The last decision of LeBron James. He called it that. He has officially signed his 2-year, $8 million contract with the Sixers. It has a 15% trade kicker. It has a player option. He left a number of teams at the altar, one of which was the Warriors. I just wanted you to hear Steph Curry's response to this because we haven't gotten that in for you here in this hour.
The debate over who carries the most pressure in Philadelphia becomes much more interesting when looking beyond the obvious names. LeBron James has nothing left to prove historically, but his decision to join the Sixers suggests that he is still chasing another championship. By choosing Philadelphia, he voluntarily entered a situation where winning is going to be the primary measure of success. For Joel Embiid, however, the pressure is much more personal. Philadelphia has invested years into building around him, yet injuries and playoff disappointments have prevented the team from reaching the level many expected. Now, with LeBron James and Jaylen Brown joining the roster, Embiid has arguably the strongest supporting cast of his career. That makes this season extremely important for him. Health remains the biggest question surrounding Embiid. His talent has never been seriously questioned because when he is healthy, he can completely dominate games on both ends of the court. The problem is whether Philadelphia can count on him when the stakes become highest. A championship roster means very little if its most important interior player cannot consistently be available. LeBron's role could actually help reduce some of the pressure on everyone else. He can organize the offense, create opportunities for Maxey and Brown, and take responsibility for difficult stretches. without needing to score 30 points every night. At this stage of his career, his leadership and basketball IQ may be just as valuable as his physical production. The biggest challenge for Philadelphia will be turning all of this individual talent into a functional team. Having 4 or 5 high-level players does not automatically guarantee chemistry or postseason success. Everyone will have to accept different responsibilities, and the coaching staff will need to manage minutes, injuries, and lineups carefully throughout the season.